All right, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to tonight's On Track series for the junior class of 2027. My name is Carrie Talbot. I am a student success advisor and curriculum specialist at ICAN. I am joined by my colleague Eric as well. You will see him later in the presentation as he will be the moderator for the panel discussion that we will have tonight. I'm also joined by individuals from the Bureau of Iowa College Aid, ISL Education Lending, and then we do have college professionals and college students that are going to be on during the panel discussion. Tonight, before we get to that panel, I do want to go through some information for that junior class, just some tips for your junior year. In case you are not familiar with who ICAN is, though, we are a nonprofit organization in the state of Iowa whose mission is to empower Iowans to find success in career, college, and life. We do that through a wide variety of advising services. We do these in the schools with parent presentations, student seminars, as well as individual appointments with students and families in our offices or virtually via Zoom. We help with all areas of that college planning, career planning process, from the first initial exploration all the way through those steps to go to college or career, with assistance filling out that FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, or even talking with students about financial aid packages, paying for college scholarships as well. You can make appointments to meet with our advisors right online. You can go to our website, icansucceed.org/APT. And like I mentioned, we do take appointments virtually via Zoom as well as in our offices. There are some materials that I want to highlight today that are available on our website online at icansucceed.org/materials. And I am going to drop a link in the chat so you have quick access to that. But these items are great resources for you all as juniors. One of them is our Life After High School guidebook. This is all about that college career planning process, from the first initial exploration to the application process, as well as the going process with money and scholarships. We also have a junior countdown to your future calendar. This is a month-by-month calendar of items that you can do, with about 4 to 5 items each month that you can complete, and doing so will ensure that you are on your way to your career or college exploration after high school. So that junior year, this year is your time to really kind of start narrowing down, focusing on some of those post-high school plans that you have. No matter what route you go after high school, military apprenticeship, or college, or into the workforce, there are some things you can be doing now to help you start narrowing down some of your options or choices afterwards. Your junior year of high school, if you are looking into the military, is a great opportunity to start really working with and meeting with those recruiters, no matter what branch you want to go into, meeting with those recruiters to start understanding the process, even completing some of that paperwork or some of those processes to enlist or enroll. If you're wanting to go into the military but going to college, you can start researching colleges that have ROTC programs that interest you, and potentially reaching out to those contacts and working with them. If you are looking into going to the military academy, there is an intense application process that you do have to complete. So make sure you have those application parts already completed, and completing those questionnaires and those nominations from your elected representatives. If you are looking into apprenticeships, junior year is a great time to start looking at those various training centers and seeing where you can attend your apprenticeship. You can visit them in person, seeing the facilities. You can start requesting information about the process, the timelines, the requirements for that apprenticeship, as potentially, depending on the trade you go into, they all will have some different requirements as well. We do have a booklet online as well, and that link that I sent called Earn As You Learn, a trades guide, that does list all of the trades and apprenticeships throughout the state of Iowa. So feel free to look at that one as well. If you are going off to college after high school, this is a great opportunity. That junior year is to start looking at those colleges that you might have an interest in and start exploring some of those colleges. Look at researching those college, finding information online, attending virtual visits with them or virtual experiences, going to college fairs, getting more information from those colleges, talking to those representatives that come to your high school. All those admissions representatives that come to your high school love to talk to students about the opportunities on their campus. It's the best way, the first steps is to talk with those admission reps to see what those colleges are like. And then going to visit those colleges as well throughout this year. Juniors, if you are looking at colleges, you can start applying to colleges usually the summer after this year, after your junior year. So start narrowing down and focusing on some of those schools that you will want to start applying with next summer and even the first part of your fall year. Junior year is a great opportunity to start setting career and educational goals if you don't have them already as well. This career planning process is an ongoing process. Set some goals around, do you need certain skills for your career that you're looking into? Do you need to focus on math or science classes as well for your academics for the career or major that you want to go into in college? Do you need to gain more experience in certain areas? Volunteer in the areas that interest you or that can help benefit your career. If you are really interested in going into veterinarian sciences, making sure you volunteer in your community at rescue shelters or humane societies, gaining some of those experiences for the careers that you want to go into. Also important to set some financial goals and financial plans for your career and your education. We're talking about how you're going to pay for that, whether it's through scholarships, whether you have a savings account, or you're going to pay outright for that. Setting goals is a very important step. Research shows that by not having goals, you can actually increase your overall costs and debt of attending college since you are not prepared with a plan to go forth and do what you want to do. When you are doing some of your career exploration, you might start coming across career clusters, which are just groupings of all of the careers that exist and put into 14 different career clusters. These are nationally recognized clusters, and so all careers do fit into these areas. But with that, you have subclusters within those major groupings. This is where you will find those actual career areas that have those skills that you might be looking for. So for example, advanced manufacturing is a career cluster, but within advanced manufacturing, there are multiple different careers or routes you can take. You can take the engineering route, industrial machinery, production, automation, robotics, safety, and quality assurance. Digital technology is also a cluster of careers, but there's many different routes you can take within digital technology. You could do data science and AI, network systems and cybersecurity, IT support services, or software solutions, or even unmanned vehicle technology. So sometimes doing explorations within careers, clusters will help you define maybe that general area you want to go into without picking that one specific career if you don't have that in mind already. Then you can start narrowing it down and looking at the careers within each of those clusters. Junior year is also a very important time to review your four-year plans. Those four-year plans outlines the courses to be taken each year of high school. Every year you request courses. That's your opportunity to review that four-year plan and make sure you're still on track, meeting all of your graduation requirements for high school. But it's also important to review those four-year plans to make sure that you are meeting the admissions requirements for whatever education and training program you are going into. You might not be required, for example, to take world language while you're in high school, but there are some colleges that require you to take world language to be admitted into their universities. So it's important that even though it's not a high school graduation requirement, you fit world language into your coursework since it might be required for your college. So it is important to look at those admissions requirements so you get the right courses. Those four-year plans are also a great way to align your career pathway and take courses that will fit with the potential career you want to go into. So you can already start getting a taste of some of the coursework that will be covered throughout your major within college or career training within that career area. So for example, If you are really interested in engineering or welding, taking your industrial technology classes, taking your architecture classes, taking your design classes to help fit the major that you want to go to or the career you want to go to. It is always important to work with your school counselor on these four-year plans. Many times students will be required to meet with their counselors, but it is always important to meet with those school counselors because they might have opportunities for you that you might not be aware of, or classes that might satisfy and help you in those career areas that you might not have thought about earlier. So talking about academics, this is on the screen in front of you, what is considered optimum preparation. This is through the Iowa Board of Regents, but this is just saying optimally what courses in subject areas should you take to be best prepared to go off to college. This is optimum preparation. It doesn't mean it's a have to, but as you can see, they say optimally, it's best to have 4 years of English and math, 4 years of science, 3 to 4 years of social studies, 4 years of a world language, and then the remaining years of those electives. Again, this is that optimum, not required. It's not a graduation requirement, but it's optimum. So why do they recommend an optimum preparation? Well, by taking this type of coursework, you are best prepared for the rigor of those college academics and that college level of coursework. College-bound students or students with heavy math and sciences really need to focus on those math and science courses in high school and take that 4th year of science. Because studies do show that taking a year off of certain classes, especially sometimes in that math realm, can lead to remedial courses at the college level and make that transition more difficult to get to college. Many times those remedial courses are lower level courses, but you are required to take those courses to get your skills up to that college level so that you can take the English or the math class that is required. And many times those remedial courses do not count as college credit, but often cost the same as regular college courses, but they don't go towards your major or your graduation requirements. Another thing to start thinking about in your junior year of high school are entrance exams. Taking standardized tests your junior year, if you are looking at potentially any route of post-secondary education, but most frequently students start thinking about taking that ACT or that SAT. The ACT is normed off of your junior year, April test of your junior year. So that just means that once you get to April of your junior year, majority of your coursework is covered on that ACT test. But you can also potentially be needing to take the AccuPlace or ALEX test. Those are placement tests for English and math. Some community colleges require it. Some state schools require those courses as they are placement tests telling you if you have the skills or what skills you have to take certain classes. If you're looking at the military, the ASVAB is going to be an entrance exam that you are required to take. It is important to talk with your admissions offices or any recruiters that you're talking to learn about their requirements for that. Some of these exams do have practice exams. So for example, the pre-ACT or the PSAT, those are practice ACT and practice SAT results or tests. So by taking those, they directly correlate to your actual ACT or SAT score to help provide you with a sample of, if you were to take this test, this is how you would perform on that test, and can provide areas of focus for improvement on those scores. Entrance exams are used for the purposes of admissions to get into colleges, but many colleges now are considered test optional, meaning they don't require you to take one of those entrance exams to get into that university. However, it still is important to look at and consider taking these entrance exams, because while they might not be needed for admissions anymore, they might still be required to help place you in the correct courses or for scholarships. So taking the ACT and SAT is still a great option for purposes of getting you placed into the correct courses, as well as if any scholarships require that ACT. Not taking the exams could result in being waitlisted for admissions or waiting and taking longer to hear back from admissions, because your application now needs to go through more individual reviews and have additional supporting documents. Some potentially require you to write essays or personal statements or have letters of recommendations if you're not supplying that ACT score. Speaking of admissions, this is the Iowa Board of Regents Admission Index. This is specific for our 3 state schools: Iowa State, University of Northern Iowa, and University of Iowa. Our 3 state schools use this mathematical calculation. As you can see, it's your ACT or SAT score, your high school GPA, and the number of core classes. It's a mathematical calculation where you put your statistics in, your numbers, multiply it by that multiplier, and then add them all up. If your score, your RAI score, is 245 or greater, you would potentially be able to be automatically admitted into our 3 state schools for admissions. This is, again, just specifically for our 3 state schools. However, we do have colleges on our call tonight that will be talking to you, and they all will probably agree that these are some of the top considerations or elements that they do look at when talking with students as well. They want to know your high school GPA and the classes you have taken, and if you've taken that ACT. These are some of those top indicators of success and what colleges do look at. So while this calculation is specific to our 3 state schools, many other colleges consider and figure these elements in to your admissions decisions. Besides academics, besides taking those entrance exams, it's also important to get involved in high school. Colleges love to see students that are involved within their high school as well as within their community. Scholarships as well love to see students involved in their community and their schools. So this could be clubs, it could be extracurriculars, it could be organizations, it could be sports, anything within the walls of your school. It could be out in the community where you're volunteering or you're part of different clubs within the community as well. They could also be part-time jobs. But this involvement shows your commitment, but also shows your time management, your teamwork, and some leadership skills. And like I mentioned, these are all areas that scholarship committees like to see their students who they're going to offer that money to having these experiences. So getting involved is another important aspect during that junior year. So picking 1 or 2 activities if you're not in any, and getting involved in those clubs, sports, or organizations in your high school. And while you are doing all of this involvement and getting and having these activities that you're part of, build yourself a resume. These activities resumes for students are a great way to highlight all of the clubs, sports, organizations, community involvement, school activities, employment, honors, and awards that you've had throughout high school. Grades 9 through 12 can be represented on these activities resumes. It's important when you do create your own activities resume that you do include the number of years that you took, that you were in that activity, as well as any leadership and positions you've held within those clubs, sports, and organizations. We do have a template on our website at icansucceed.org/activities resume, where this is a template you can feel free to use. Otherwise, you can modify it and pick your own template to create an activities resume. But these activities resumes will also be used frequently in scholarships decisions. Many scholarships will have you or want you to list the activities that you were involved in throughout high school. So if you have this activities resume when you're going off to apply for those scholarships, if you have them ready to go, you can just attach those to those scholarships. We have talked education and training, we've talked college, we've talked military, and we've talked apprenticeships. I just want to highlight one more time that there are many different education and training routes after high school. It doesn't just mean a 4-year college degree. It could be military, those apprenticeships, or those certificate, diploma, and associate's programs as well. During our panel tonight, we do have representation from community colleges, from 4-year universities. So you will see all the different opportunities of post-secondary education and training that is available to students after high school. Frequently, we'll sometimes get asked is, education and training worth it? Well, there are monetary and non-monetary benefits of education and training. Monetarily, those that have some form of education and training after high school are earning more than a student that is a high school graduate. So monetarily, yes, there are benefits to to education and training after high school, but non-monetarily, they are available to. There are benefits as well, non-monetarily. This includes physical and mental health, greater life satisfaction and well-being. It includes more involvement and civic engagement in the communities, as well as more career options and chances for advancement. So there are great ways for post-secondary education training to benefit students outside of just that monetary salary for students. Another great way for students to explore during their junior year is through college fairs. This is an event where college representatives provide information to prospective students. There are multiple, usually college representatives there to meet with students. So it's a great opportunity to meet with a lot of different colleges, a lot of different representatives from all over the area or potentially nation, depending on the type of college fair you're going to get information on those colleges and collect information to know if that is a college you want to further explore or might even potentially attend. Then there are campus visits. This is a great activity for juniors to take part in throughout the year. Campus visits are a great opportunity for those students that have narrowed their list down to say, you know what, I still am really serious about attending this college. Let's go visit. We hear students say, for example, oh, I've been on a campus visit to University of Northern Iowa or to Iowa because we go to the games. That's not an official campus visit. Those visits are different when you do an official campus visit through the admissions offices at those colleges. When you go on these types of campus visits where you're going to visit as a prospective student, you will be able to tour the entire campus. You'll be able to talk with admissions representatives, be able to talk to students. Depending on your tour, you might be able to meet with faculty or sit in on a class. You'll be able to talk with the financial aid office. You might even get to eat lunch in their cafeteria. And depending on, you might even get to do an overnight stay at that college. But this is a great opportunity for you to ask questions, see what the facilities are like, what their social life, clubs, organizations are like, and what that off-campus living is like. Campus visits are a great time when students usually decide if, yep, this is a college I want to go to, or no, it's not. I don't feel like this could be my home for the next 2, 3, 4 years. With apprenticeships, if you're looking at apprenticeship route, like I've mentioned before, you can go preview those preview those facilities and tour those facilities to see the training sites, to see the equipment, to meet with those instructors. So this is a great opportunity again to start going on some of those career training facilities after or throughout for those apprenticeships. Parents on the call tonight, you can help here too. This is a great opportunity for you to start having those conversations with your students and laying down some of those expectations early so there's no surprises. Talking about academic expectations for students throughout the remainder of their junior year, but also all the way through college. Talking about those financial decisions. Who is going to pay for college? Are parents helping? Are they not? Is there a savings account in place? Do you want to start a savings account with your students and start putting money away? If parents are starting to fund their college, are parents going to put them on a spending limit or have them have a budget for how much they're going to spend while in college? Same with credit cards. If students are going to get credit cards once they graduate high school while in college, what is the plan? Helping students make some of those financial decisions throughout. And same with some social life. What are some of those expectations? Talking with students, what they want to experience. A popular one is a car. Are students going to be able to take that car to college, or are they going to have to take the public transportation or walk while at college? As we slowly wrap up here for my portion of things before we get to the panelists, I do want to share a few more resources with you. We do have e-alerts at ICAN. These e-alerts are anything from tips of the week videos, grade level alerts, event alerts and reminders, and social media. So you can sign up for any or all of these events or these alerts, and they will come right to you. You can go on our website at icansucceed.org/sign up, or you can scan the QR code that is on your screen right now. I have also dropped in the chat the link to those alerts, so sign up online as well. ICAN also hosts fairs, a variety of different fairs. We host a military career fair. We partner with the military and offer career fairs with all branches of the military, active enlistment, ROTC, and academies, military academies are all represented at our career fairs for military specific. And so you can, if you are interested in the military and want to learn more, meet with specific recruiters, you can attend one of our military career fairs. You can go online. I did drop that in the chat, icansucceed.org/military fair. We have them located throughout the entire state, so you can find one that's located close to you on a date that works and attend those fairs as well. We then have a big Golden Circle College and Career Fair coming this Sunday. It is down in Altoona at Prairie Meadows. And this fair, we have over 100 exhibitors in colleges, universities, career training apprenticeships, as well as military representatives at this career and college fair. Again, that is this Sunday, September 21st from 1 to 3. It will be at Prairie Meadows in Altoona. I have dropped in the chat as well a link to that fair so you can get registered to attend that fair or gain more information about who is coming and which colleges will be represented at this fair. At this time, I do want to bring in Shelly from ISL Education Lending to talk about a few resources that they have available to students and families. So Shelly.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be joining you tonight, and I thank ICAN for inviting me again this year. I'm Shelly Adams. I work for ISL Education Lending. We're more commonly known as Iowa Student Loan, which is our parent company, but we do business as ISL Education Lending. But we are a nonprofit. We've been incorporated over 40 years. And our main goal really is to help families plan smart and pay less for college. So that's our overarching mission. And we do that by offering scholarships, free tools and resources, basically getting out in the community and offering services that at college fairs and so forth. And we're really excited to be launching this Step 1 Scholarship Search. Say that 5 times fast with ICAN this year, but wanted to talk to you specifically about 2 programs that we have available. One of them, they're actually opportunities where you can win money for college, which is what everyone wants. You want that free money. But the first program is SP3 or Student Planning Pointers for Parents. This is the program that I manage at ISL, and it's designed for parents who sign up a student in 8th through 12th grades, and then they receive 2 emails each month, which directs them to the 2 different articles about the college going process, career planning, and making choices and taking assessments and talking about preparation for either the career or the college route, whichever. So with basically SP3 is designed to complement the services that ICAN is offering, as well as what school counselors are talking about with your student in their school. For juniors, all of those topics that Carrie mentioned before we talk about in SP3. And then we also have a number of different resources that we'll direct you to take some time and look into a little bit further and more deeply. But typically the articles are short in length. We offer it might take about 5 to 10 minutes to read the entire article, but it's meant to help you start some conversations with your students, similar to what ICAN helps you do as well. But registration for SP3 is so easy. It takes about 5 minutes is all. You can register at sp3.org. I encourage you to do that tonight. We're just going to ask you for little demographic information. We don't collect any information about your student other than the grade level until you possibly win one of our prizes, because every quarter we will randomly select 40 participants to receive a $250 savings plan deposit to their 529 account. And that can be any 529 account. It doesn't have to be specifically the iSave 529 account offered by the State of Iowa Treasurer's Office. If you have a 529 already set up through another organization or agency outside of Iowa, or perhaps you have a financial advisor who's managing your account for you, we can send those deposits to any of those. If you sign up tonight, you'll be ready to get those articles that will be sent next week on the 24th. We send those every second and fourth Wednesdays. So just encourage you to go out and sign up tonight. The second opportunity I wanted to talk about with you was our ISL Education Lending Scholarship. Registration, again, is really easy for this, very simple. And then there are some educational components that we provide you with 3 tips, multiple choice questions. And then we also email some various preparation items and tips during the program period. So we have the scholarship open right now through December 5th. And you can just go to iowastudentloan.org/college savings to get there. But 45 people will be selected to receive a $1,000 deposit to an iSave 529 account. So this is specific to iSave 529 account. So I guess what I'm encouraging you to do is open up an iSave 529 account if you don't already have one. But we'd like to see lots of you register for both SP3 and the scholarship, and then take advantage of our different tools on our website. Under college planning tab, we have a number of different things: student loan game plan, return on college investment, and the college funding forecaster out there, so that you can do some various preparation that you need to do with your student during this very important year. So that's what I have.
Thank you so much, Shelley, and thank you for sharing those resources. Parents, students, I definitely hope you take advantage of those. I actually do know a few parents that have won actually multiple times that SP3 award. So they've gotten more than just that 250, as they've won it a few different times. So it's definitely possible and available there. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I will now like to bring on Danielle from the Bureau of Iowa College Aid, and she will share another resource that is available to students and parents.
Yes, thank you, Carrie, and welcome students and parents that have joined us, families as well. If you are supporting a junior level parent or junior level student, sorry. We are the Bureau of Iowa College Aid, and we support your high school student in a number of ways through our work with your school counselor and potentially your CCTC, and also even your work-based learning coordinator that your school may have this year. And we really support them in this building of a college going culture, helping make sure that our students have a pathway that they are excited and anxious to pursue as they graduate high school. So our program does include a lot of options that are directly connected to our school counselors and our CCTCs, but we also offer this portion that we're presenting to you tonight, which is called the Virtual College Coach Texting Program. And this is an opportunity for you to get one-on-one support with college applications, FAFSA completion, financial aid reviews, any additional support when it comes to college planning, such as maybe setting up that college visit if you need questions or answers as to how to do that. Any questions about how to maybe start that college going essay that your students may want to start working on in this junior year. as well as maybe getting some additional scholarship ideas coming your way. We have a program set up for students and parents 9 through 12 and beyond that really is targeted to address the certain need areas of those students in each of those grade levels. So as we take a look at this option of the 11th grade student, we're really going to be focusing on those college going pieces that involve starting to make those decisions about what colleges they want to go visit. Also, Carrie referenced a lot about taking that ACT, SAT testing, so a lot of information about that, and just any additional reminders about regional events that might be happening in your area that might help support that college going effort for you and your students. If you want, you can scan that QR code at the bottom of the screen there. We also have a web link that you can sign up through. And not only will the web link offer you the opportunity to sign up for that texting program, but we also have something called a virtual college coach that is available, or actually a college coach that's available to do one-on-one virtual appointments with you, and may even be present at some of your schools this year to help assist in any activities that your students might be involved in. So you can sign up for any of those through that website there that I have posted in the chat, or feel free to scan that QR code. We're really excited to work with you this year and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Another great service for you all to take advantage of. At this time, we are going to transition over to my colleague, Eric, and he's going to moderate our college panelists and student panelists. So we are going to transition to that. If you do have any questions for any student or college, please drop them in the chat now and going forth as well.
All right, thanks, Carrie. I appreciate it. Hey, just to get a little practice within the chat box, for those of you that are attending, would you mind putting in the chat box what high school you're associated with, whether a parent or a student, what high school that you're associated with? Just kind of curious on all the representation that we're getting throughout the state today. So as we have our, we got Earlham, Davis County, Glidden, Ralston, MFL, Marmac. Already with the few I'm seeing, it looks like we're covered pretty good across the state of Iowa. Central Lee, excellent. Central, perfect. Thank you. Glenwood, I mean, we're from river to river, it looks like already, in a lot of different different sections of the state. So that's wonderful. Thank you for doing that. And as Carrie mentioned, any questions that you have, please let us know as we get to our panelists now. What I'm going to do at first is I'm going to have our panelists introduce themselves. Not only do we have admissions reps that are here tonight, but students from those schools too, which is always a valuable experience. So I'm going to begin at first with Terry. Terry, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Good afternoon or evening, I guess, everyone. My name is Terry Crumley. I'm the Director of Admissions here at the University of Northern Iowa, and I have some great students with me today.
Excellent. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Kayla, I'm going to have you introduce yourself at first.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm a junior here at UNI, and I'm also on the Panther Ambassadors.
Excellent. Kayla, what are, I'm just curious, what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in secondary history education.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for taking the time to be on the panel tonight with us. Also from UNI is Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a sophomore here at UNI, and I'm majoring in art education.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, thank you, Emily, for being here tonight as well. Representing the University of Dubuque, Ivy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ivy. I work at the University of Dubuque, as Eric said. I've been here about 6 years. I work with Iowa Students in International, and I brought Frida along.
And Frida joined with us last year as well, so she's not new to this, which is great. Thanks, Frida.
Yes, I'm a senior here at the University of Dubuque, and I'm double majoring in aviation management and flight operations.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining with us again this year, too. And then we've also got Nick from Kirkwood.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Kettman from Kirkwood. So I'm the director of admissions here. I am a proud Kirkwood alum. I did my first 2 years at Kirkwood before actually going to UNI as an education major. And I was a student ambassador at UNI as well. So props to both of you. And I brought Michelle with me today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm an alum slash current student at Kirkwood because I already have my interior design, interior architecture major from there, and I decided to come back and do ambassadors all over again. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be here tonight, too, Michelle. I can't wait to get started with some of the questions directed to all of you as students and our admissions reps. Too, I don't want to sell them short, but it's always great to get a student perspective with these panels. I am going to, though, start off with our admissions reps at first. And actually, we've got a question that I think can be a good one that has already come into the chat. Carrie, I'm going to start with you. Does the act of getting an associate degree in high school give certain advantages, or are the advantages really more about the number of credits?
For the most part, getting an associate in high school does help maybe have a more flexible curriculum when you get to college. Generally, we find maybe later in the housing process, it might be helpful that you have more credits. But generally, at the very beginning, at the start of your college career, the benefit is really just the credits. We don't have any special incentives for students that have an associate's degree at the time that they start at UNI. We do find, as just a general rule, that most students that come with an associate's degree actually still end up about 3 years at UNI, mostly because they find that they have maybe a different major plan than they started, or that they want to stick around a little longer, honestly, because they're having so much fun. So I just like to put out there for parents that have students get an associate's degree while in high school, that it's not always a 2+2. Usually we see most of the time that students go 3 years, even with an associate's degree. So there you go.
Ivy, just wanted to see if there's anything that you wanted to add from University of Dubuque perspective.
So with UD, we actually adopted the 99-degree completion path. So basically it's for all of the counties here in the state of Iowa. If a student graduates with their AA, then they would only have to do then the additional 2 years. We take some of those gen ed requirements that if you were to come in as a freshman away, even if a student finishes their AA before they graduate, they would still be a part of that 99-degree completion path. Other than that, if they don't finish their AA, we do take a lot of, if not all, credits from the local community colleges in the state of Iowa.
And Nick, being at a community college, didn't know if there was anything else you would like to add to that too.
The biggest thing I would say is, as you're getting these college credits during high school, I mean, it truly is college credit. So they're going to transfer to the universities just the same as if you came to Kirkwood or a community college after high school, planning to transfer on afterwards. So make sure that you're working with your high school counselors or your local community college, work with their staff to make sure you're taking the appropriate classes, because we can really help keep you on the right path depending on what your end goal is. So don't be afraid to be reaching out to the community colleges already during high school to make sure you're taking the right courses. A lot of times your high school counselors are going to have or be a great resource. They know a lot about those credits and how they transfer and things like that. But that's the biggest thing I would say is use those resources around you so that we can keep you on the best path forward.
I add one last thing, Nick, thank you for that, is that we do find, and just a reminder, that when you bring in an associate's degree, you're starting then as a junior in college, right? And sometimes that step up from high school to a junior in college and going into those very high level courses is a big step. So just be prepared for that. That's why we're always working with great people like Nick to make sure that courses are, coming in correctly, but we want to make sure that, mentally your child is still a college freshman, right? Mentally. So just be prepared for that mental aspect as well.
And my colleague Carrie is actually doing double duty tonight because she was a former school counselor. Carrie, I'm just wondering from a school counselor perspective, anything to add on that question?
So yes, I was a high school counselor for 15 years prior to, or just shy of 15 years prior to being in this role at ICAN. And regarding college credits in high school, getting those AAs, I know Terry did mention it, and Nick too, but really it's that rigor. So you are starting that college transcript while in high school. Many a times those college credits are free for students, which is great. They are free, but they still have that rigor attached to them. And I know as one that also teaches college classes and taught the high school college classes too, some students are not ready for that rigor. And so you are getting dual credits. You are getting those credits from the high school and that college. So it really is important that you are taking those steps to make sure you have that time management and going from there. Somebody asked, what do we mean by AA? AA means an associate's degree. So when you go to a community college, you can earn a degree called an associate's degree. At the four-year college, it's called a bachelor's degree, a BA. So with college credits in high school, it's just really important to make sure you're aware of you're getting high school credits and college credits. It's reflected on both transcripts. That also comes into play for eligibility. I know some students are athletes or partake in extracurriculars. So it's important to understand those as well when it comes to taking some of that rigor.
All right. Well, thank you. And please keep those questions coming into us. I'm going to get our college students now involved in the conversation. And I'm kind of going to go in the same order that I did initially here. Kayla, I'm going to start with you. What were factors that were important to you in picking a college when you were a high school junior or high school senior?
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I picked a college that felt like home, that I felt like I could be myself at. And UNI just was that place for me. And yeah, I just kind of knew I was here.
What were some of the things that you were looking for? Anything specifically, location, size?
Yeah, kind of size and location. So I'm from Iowa City, so it's about an hour and a half from home. So I can still feel like I'm having that distance from my parents and being a college student. But sometimes I want to go home and have my mom's dinner. So that was kind of one of the main reasons too.
Wonderful. Emily, same questions to you.
Yeah, when I was choosing my major originally, I chose art education, and because I chose that degree, I needed a college that is a good education school and a good art school, and I really found that here at UNI. I loved the art program. I took a tour as a junior coming in to my senior year, thinking about where I'm gonna go, and from that first tour, I just knew that UNI was the place to be. And I saw so much community there just in the one day that I was there, and it really impressed me.
Right. Emily, how many college visits did you do while in high school?
I went to Iowa State, and I also came here and took a tour of a couple of local community colleges back home.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Frida, same question to you. What were some of the factors that were important to you in picking University of Dubuque?
When I picked the University of Dubuque, I just really liked the community that was here, not just with like the educators, but the different staff and like people on campus. I liked that it was kind of far away from home just because I was able to curate my own independence away from my family and like really grow as a person. And it was just like different weather than Texas because that's where I'm originally from. So it was just a new environment that I could grow and like adapt to.
Yeah, there's a few more white flakes that come down, I'm sure, here in Iowa than it does in Texas to be able to experience
Yeah,
at
many
times. So
more.
great. Michelle, same question to you.
So I chose Kirkwood because one, I was able to get a scholarship through them that paid almost my entire tuition for my major. And just going to Kirkwood, I kind of fell in love with them from the get-go. It was small enough but big enough for me to go there because I didn't want to leave home. I'm a very, very like homebody, and I know I'd miss my family too much. So I think that was a big factor too, and also just like all the help that they have given me and the opportunities that my major has provided me to grow professionally as well. just because I feel like it's smaller. There's a little bit more opportunity. And I got to meet a lot of local professionals in my major here in the Cedar Rapids area. So I feel like that boosts why I wanted to go to Kirkwood more. And also just the program that I went into was really, really great. Very hands-on, and I learned a lot through them. So I feel like that's kind of why I chose Kirkwood, just because overall it was really good and they have a lot of opportunities, even if you're not sure if you'd be able to afford community college or college at all. So
Excellent. Well, thank you. I think everybody, as we can see here, we're talking about different types of institutions, different types of experiences, and we just want students to find what is the right fit for them, which is not going to be a one size fits all in any kind of fit. When I was asking about campus visits, I'm going to actually come to our admissions folks now, because I believe everybody thinks this is probably one of the biggest parts of making a college decision. Ivy, we'll start with you this time. Carrie kind of went over it a little bit, but just to give an idea how to set up a campus visit at your school, and then also what is some advice to students and families to make sure they experience on any campus visit that they attend?
For sure. So for our campus visits, everything is basically online unless you're in direct contact with like an admission counselor or a coach. We are open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to whenever visits are done. And then we do have general visit days as well. There's one in September, November, and December. Then we have two in October. One is going to be for aviation students, and the other one will be for nursing students. If you can't make it the 2 days of those, you can still come up whenever. We just like to highlight some more stuff on those. And then the advice on what to do on their campus visits, just make it about you. You ask the questions that you really want to know the answers to, whether it's about the food, dorms, or what people do on weekends, and just try to picture yourself at that school. Because could you see it being your home away from home? I feel like all of us admission reps and the students here, that when we all did our first tours or whatever college we chose, it was because we felt like it was our home away from home. And for example, I went to UD and now I work here. So it really does feel like my home away from home.
Excellent. Thank you, Ivy. Nick, anything about making a campus visit at Kirkwood and advice you might have?
Yeah, so ours, same thing that you'd sign up for it online. So when you went to the visit website, it will tell you about the two different types of visits, either our group campus visit days or individual visits. So that's one thing to think through, is if you'd rather be one-on-one, like your family and the admissions advisor, for example, or if you'd rather be in a group setting. And in each of the visits, at least at Kirkwood, have their perks. We're on a group visit day. You are in more of that group setting. However, you meet a lot more people as well. So that's the day that you get to meet all of our student ambassadors. You get to meet people from your actual program of what you're thinking. So you get to tour the lab spaces, talk with the experts in the area. And you get to meet other students coming from all over the place. One-on-one, naturally, you get all of your individual questions answered, but then it's your admissions rep who's doing a lot of the touring. I know other colleges will include some faculty in on those one-on-one visits as well. But piece of advice I would say is do some research ahead of time as well. Like if you come and knowing nothing about our colleges, we love to talk and promote it. We can tell you all sorts of good things. But if you scroll through the website, it might spark some questions that you have or that you didn't realize you had or you want to know more about. So doing some of that initial research or even just scrolling through the website a little bit or our social media pages, that might spark some questions that you might want to ask about as well. So make sure you do that prior to visiting too.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. Carrie, still want to ask, just in case, it might be very similar about setting up visits at UNI, but also advice you have.
Yeah, similar. We have both daily visits and our group visit days, or larger group visit days. We have some specialized visit days too for students interested in education. We call it Made to Teach. We have one called the Health and Human Services Day, Sciences Day for those interested in nursing and health, a business visit day, and then just general large group visits as well. And then we have the daily one-on-one type of things. And the great thing is you get tours from Kayla and Emily if you come on campus. So that's the greatest part about the visit, is talking with the students. And I mean that sincerely, and kind of go back to what Ivy and Nick said, just, come in, ask questions, and really get a feel for the students. I always find it's who you go to college with makes a big difference. It's not just where you go, if that makes sense. So meet the people.
Real quickly, I want to then go ahead and ask our students. Frida, I'll start with you. What advice would you give to families on a campus visit?
It's okay to pivot. I know that like when I was initially looking into colleges, I wanted to do like a completely different career path. And now that I'm in college, like I've pivoted from that original idea and I've fallen into like something that I think I'm going to enjoy for the rest of my life and like really just have a good work-life balance than what I originally had planned.
Excellent. Michelle, any advice that you would give students when they're visiting college campuses?
Ask a lot of questions. We're not scary, I promise. I know sometimes it can be intimidating going to any college and you're looking at the students and being like, oh, they're in their 20s or they're older. Like we were in the same position. We probably know what you're feeling. And it's okay to change your mind. I had a lot of friends that didn't stick to the major I did or other majors that they started off. So it's okay to change. Don't feel like you have to stick to the one that you signed up for. But I would say just go and make sure it's a perfect fit for you. And just make sure that you like the school, I guess, is a big.
Thank you. And Emily, any advice?
Yeah, again, just ask the questions. There's no stupid questions. We're here to answer the questions, whether it's about a building on campus or just how we like living on campus or what we think of the food, like which is the better dining hall. Like, there's no stupid questions. Ask them all. We love to get the questions, so take it all in at the same time, too.
Kayla, any advice you would have?
I know you're going to get tired of hearing this, but ask all the questions. It really does make the biggest difference because you showing us that you want to be here makes our job a lot easier, and we can tailor the tour to you better if you're asking those questions and like showing us that you really want to be here.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you. And next, I wanted to get into a question back to Carrie. I know this might sound a little like a negative question, but I think we need to bring it up. Carrie, what are some of the mistakes that you had seen students make in the past during their high school junior year?
Yeah. So junior year is the year when, for whatever reason, academics become more difficult. Junior year, you get into some of the harder math and some of the harder science classes. So with that, students would take it one of two ways potentially. They would go forth and try to conquer it, or they would try to say, nope, I'm out, and leave some of those classes to take an easier load. So really focusing on, that trying and not, and trying to, what is the word? Push yourself to try those academics instead of just getting out when the second it starts getting hard, because junior year is that year that things do start kind of getting a little harder for students. Another one would be not getting involved or not planning for their futures at this time. So I know I mentioned it earlier in my presentation of involvement. It really is important. Sometimes involvement can make or break scholarships and or admissions. I've worked with students where that has been the case, where they weren't involved in school. You do not have to be the star athlete. You do not have to be the #1 state debate person. Just being involved in any way, shape, or form, whether it's backstage at a play or the front lines on the courts, you being involved really helps. And so making sure to be involved, because not being involved does have that negative impact on some of those future planning things. So that's what I would say would be some of the two biggest ones.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm going to piggyback off of that, going back to our students again. Let me start with Michelle this time. Michelle, what is some advice that you would give a high school junior now that wish you would have known as a high school junior?
Don't slack. I know I was kind of a slacker, not a slacker, but I kind of didn't put much attention to certain things, and I kind of got to do stuff a little bit later in the end. So like for example, I didn't know dual credits existed. Sorry if you can hear, that's my dog. I didn't know dual credits existed, so I kind of started taking that until my senior and my last semester of junior year in high school. And if I would have done that sooner, I think I would have got saved a little bit more money in college. So I think it's just reaching out and networking with local colleges or colleges you may be interested to figure out what requirements you may need. Because I know I could have done a lot of my classes in high school and still going to high school, but be less stressed in college. Because sometimes going into college as a senior, like fresh out of high school, can be super overwhelming just because on the homework load. I know not every major is the same, but compared to my major, I had a lot of homework, so that was definitely a big adjustment and learning how to manage my time. So I think two things would be like just get on top of it, don't be scared to ask, and start managing your time if you can with little things and learning how you study and how you accommodate to things and changes, because sometimes.
Thank you, Michelle. And now I'm going to come to Emily with the same question. Any advice that you would give high school juniors right now? And I shouldn't put whether you did know or maybe something you wish you would have known, either way, but advice you would give to them.
Some advice I'd give to juniors would be definitely build those study habits starting in high school. If you don't think you have to study for that Spanish test, still try to practice a way that might work for you to study, because that's one thing I had to learn in college is I never really had to study for stuff in high school. And if I started building those study habits earlier, it would have been a lot easier and I wouldn't procrastinated studying so long for my college tests.
Thank you. That was some advice a student gave last night on our senior panel that we have as well. So I think there is a common theme. I can see that being the rest of the week. We hear that a few times from students too. Kayla, same question to you. Advice that you would give high school juniors right now.
I would say don't be afraid to ask questions. You might think that you're going to be a senior and you're going to come to college and you're going to know everything. I'm not saying this to be me, but you won't, because goodness knows I didn't. And being able to ask those tough questions and to be willing to accept the help, it really does make a difference, especially starting your junior year when you're starting to look at colleges. Asking the questions, going to the events, trying to figure out what you need to process through to really be able to be a good student.
Thank you. And Frida, coming to you, any advice that you would give high school juniors?
Just the same as Emily, kind of creating those good study habits now. It's really easy to just memorize things instead of applying yourself and understanding actual topics that you could be going through your classes, and just also being open to creating relationships with different people that don't look like you or may not be from the same major as you when you're in college, just because that's how you can be a more well-rounded student with your friend group.
Well, thank you, Frida. I appreciate that. And now I want to come back to our admissions folks. And Nick, I'm going to start with you this time. We've been getting advice from the students and other things we've been mentioning, but from an admissions perspective, what advice would you give students just thinking about life after high school and potentially going to college? I'm going to kind of throw it together with what do you think are some of the most important things students and parents need to consider also when selecting the college too?
Yeah, so the first part of that, I would say just start exploring now, where there's all sorts of careers and all that out there. Oftentimes we get in that kind of tunnel vision of we know what our parents do and we sort of know what our friends' parents do. Or maybe you know some of the common things like, you go to the dentist, you go to the doctor, but there's so many other options out there. And there's a lot of free services out there to help you with that career exploration, from your interests, your aptitudes. So there's a lot of just free resources, assessments, and things like that, that are out there for you to take advantage of. So I would say just begin that exploration and keep your eyes open and minds open to, what those potentials could be. Um, and then what was the second part of your question, Eric?
I'm sorry, some important things that students, parents need to consider in selecting a
Thank you.
college. Yeah.
I would say just, and it was mentioned earlier too by some of the students as well, but find the college that's the right fit. And that right fit can mean a lot of different things for different people. Some it might be the size, some it might be the specific program, some it might be just the culture itself of either the college or the community that surrounds the college. So that's where, again, that exploration piece of it, going on college visits is going to help, because when you step foot on campus, start interacting with the staff, the students, the faculty members, you really start to get a feel for the place. So don't just be locked into like, oh, well, my friends are going here, so that's the only place I'm going to look at. Don't be afraid to get out and branch out and explore and go off on your own as well. Because if you find a college that's going to be the right fit, you're likely going to find a lot of people that are going to be influential in your life, but also you're going to get along with too, because that same college was a good fit for them. So just keep that fit piece in mind when you look. And when you come to your college visits, we naturally will promote our institutions, but we aren't going to like trick you into coming to our institutions either. Like, we're going to tell you the great things that we have to offer, but the great things at Kirkwood are going to be different than the great things at UNI, different than the great things at UD. So wherever you're looking at, just keep that open as well, not just kind of going along with what your friends are doing.
Thank you, Nick. Carrie, I'm going to come to you next. And I know even your perspective, not just even admissions, but as a parent who's went through it before too.
Yes, I always say at our visit days, I made it through, everybody. 2 kids, got through college. Woo-hoo. So I would say, first of all, I know it can be stressful as a parent. Like, you're trying to help your student and maybe they're not responding, and then you got to figure out the cost, you got to do all these things. But try to enjoy the process. You know, when you go on these college visits, oh, what a great time to be in the car with your kids and have some conversations and do all those kinds of things, right? So I think try to enjoy the process. I think it's helpful early as a junior to even start nudging and thinking about, how are we going to pay for this? You know, I mean, there's a reality to that. And, you know, there might be a college that your child loves and it's, you know, across the country and it's going to be a huge financial burden for you. There's just a reality that that just might not work for you. So it's okay to maybe start kind of talking about the reality of cost of college. And then I think other than that, you know, just be there for your students and enjoy, like I said, kind of looking through these majors. I think one of the advice that I always had with my own and with other college students is, you're going to go on these college and you're going to get a lot of information. I think there's always like the fact check. Like, does it have the major? Does it have the distance? Does it have kind of all the facts about the college? And then there's this other little spreadsheet in your brain, or maybe on your own, that's like, what's the gut check? What feels good? Does this feel like the right place for me? And if those 2 things mesh, then usually that's the right place for you. So hope that helps a little bit.
Absolutely. And I think it is important to stress this. I even know Carrie mentioned it on how parents can help, but we've seen at ICAN, and I'm sure Terry and Nick and Ivy, you've seen this too, and asked for parents, oh, they drop their students off and how are they going to pay for school now, type deal. You know, not having the conversations that they should junior, senior year early on about the payment. So that's very important. Ivy, I wanted to come to your perspective as well. Obviously, you chose the right school because you went there and now still working there too. But any advice that you give to students and parents?
For sure. So my biggest advice is, don't stress about having it all figured out right away. You might have a couple ideas about what you want to study and that kind of stuff. We're here to help you work through that and get you set up with professors during your visits or even your first year of school. Start just by thinking what excites you, what you enjoy learning, and what kind of environment you'd like to be in. College is definitely where you grow into who you want to be. And then some of the important things that I say consider for selecting a college as well is the biggest thing is fit. Beyond the academics and programs, it's about how comfortable and supported you feel on the campus. You want to pick a place where you can truly thrive both in and out of the classroom as well.
Excellent. Thank you. And again, I think as we do it, there's 3 different types of universities, colleges that we have here tonight. Not everything's going to be the same for every student, but just trying to fight that. You're going to hear that word a lot as a junior family and student whenever you go on a campus visit. I think the fit, making sure you do find that right fit. I want to come back to our students here. We'll quick with some question. Just curious, and I think Emily, I'm going to start with you this time. Did you job shadow or internship while in high school? Did you do any kind of job shadowing or internship in high school to help figure out maybe what major you want to do?
I did a little bit. Part of a personal finance class that I took in high school was we had to go on a job shadow. So I went down to my elementary school and watched our art teacher down there kind of do his job for the day. Other than that, I didn't go visit any other art classrooms per se, but I had done swim lessons and helped with a lot of camps in my community just to get involved and make sure working with kids was something I really wanted to do.
And you found out it was by those experiences.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful. Kayla, same question to you. Any type of job, internship, anything that helped you choose your career?
Yeah, so I started wanting to be a history teacher through my actually junior year history teacher. And he said, "Hey, I have this friend who teaches in West Branch. You want to go kind of see what she does?" And so I went for a week and I really liked it. And then I started going for about 3 months straight, 3 days a week. And I just kind of helped out in her classroom. And I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be. This is what I like.
Excellent. Excellent. Did you do any other types or was that the only one and you found out that is what you liked? Was there anything else that you did?
Yeah, so I did that, but then I also work at a summer camp for children. I taught swim lessons, and then I also did some volunteer work through Iowa City Parks and Recreation. So
Excellent. Great. Great. All right. Frida, did you do any type of internships, job shadowing, to help you decide your major that you're getting into?
Yeah, so initially I wanted to be an engineer, so I did some engineering prep courses at my local community college, and my sister was going through engineering school herself at like a university, and just seeing the rigor of her classes made me realize that I didn't want to be an engineer, and I still wanted to do like something aerospace related, which is why I landed upon aviation. And I know that for aviation, you can do different discovery flights and kind of see if it's something that you want to do. I missed the one that was available through University of North Texas, just because it was kind of far away from my home. But watching videos and seeing like just aviation life and how people go through a professional pilot track through school just really solidified my idea of being a professional pilot.
Right. Thank you. And it's just as important to find out what you don't like as what you do like too, I think, in any experiences that you do as well. So that's good. Nichelle, um, any job shadowing internships that you did while in high school?
Yeah, so I had a job slash just helping my parents. My dad owns his own construction company. So I've been involved with the trades for a very, very long time, since I was maybe in middle school. So I help him out on that side. And since my parents' first language isn't English, I help with the translating. So that kind of led me to doing design, and I kind of fell in love with that. And I also did a job shadow in high school through Kirkwood for a cosmetology school and interior design. Cosmetology was something else I wanted to look into, but I found out I did not like it at all. It kind of depend on yourself to finish your hours and finish your course, I guess, to graduate. And I felt like I needed something maybe more structured at that time, just in the point of my high school age I was, maybe not mature enough. But then as I got older and I did that job shadow for interior design, I kind of just fell in place. I'm like, oh yeah, this is 100% what I want to do. So definitely job shadows can be very helpful, and just looking at YouTube videos and watching TV, I felt like just made me love my major even more. So yeah.
Excellent. And again, another example of finding out what you do like, but what you don't like can be just as important in getting those experiences as well. We are going to actually be winding down here. And the last thing that I want to do is asking everybody this question. Any last words of wisdom or advice over anything maybe we've already covered, or maybe something that we didn't cover that you want to make sure to tell the high school junior students and parents about? I'm actually going to start with my colleague Carrie on this to let her mention anything that she would like to maybe add to what we've discussed tonight.
Yeah, so two things. One would be just reinforcing job shadows. That was going to be my piece of advice, but I know we just ended on that one, which is great. Job shadows are very important. So take advantage of those job shadows. Finding out what you don't like is just as important, like Eric said, as what you do like. I've worked with students where they wanted to be in that medical field, and so we put them on a job shadow, and they spent all day following a phlebotomist drawing blood, and they said, do you have to do this in the medical field, even if I'm not a phlebotomist? And I don't want to do that. I don't want it. So it's important to go on those job shadows to confirm or to realize you don't want that. But my new piece of advice would be know your graduation requirements. Through all my work with students, not knowing your graduation requirements can be harmful. You as the student are responsible for knowing if you're meeting your graduation requirements. But not only that, making sure you're cross-referencing that with your admissions. If you are here and you are an athlete or want to be an athlete in college, making sure you are following, whether it's the NCAA rules, NAI rules, junior college rules, community college rules for athletics. They all have different courses that meet their requirements. So make sure you are doing your cross checks to know, am I taking the right English class if your high school has multiple levels of English? So know your graduation requirements and ensure that you're taking the right courses to match your athletics or your college route. That would be mine.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate it. I'm actually going to bring it back in Shelley from ISL Education Lending also with her work experience, but also as one who's been a parent in this experience too.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I put, just like Terry, I've put 2 kids through college. And my experience in 20 years or so of financial aid really was valuable, I might say. And my kids now realize that to this day. But Terry mentioned something that I think is great. Hello to my cat, right? Is the gut check. If something doesn't feel right, just know that it's worth maybe looking into only a little bit. But the thing I'd like to really, for juniors, I think exploration is really key. Just take those design classes, take an art education class if you have one. Check out any local community college classes over the summer just to see what you might be interested in. I went into college without declaring a major, had 3 different thoughts of what I wanted to be, and freshman engineering at Iowa State told me I could not be a designer. An interior designer, and second year level course in Spanish told me I probably wouldn't be an interpreter at the UN. So, those kinds of things. Again, just you find out more about what you probably shouldn't do than what you want to be doing by just exploring. So take those classes and have some fun with it too. So I guess that's what I can say.
Great. Well, thank you, Shelley, and thank you
Yeah.
for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to next go to our admissions reps, and Terry, I'm going to start with you again. Any last words of wisdom or advice over anything we've covered, or maybe something that we didn't, that you'd want to tell students and families?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's okay not to know what you're going to do your whole life right now. Like, life is a journey. This process is a journey. You don't have to have the next 60 years of your life mapped out. So just, go and figure out, take things one at a time. We're admissions staff are here to help you through this process. So when you have questions, please reach out to us. And lastly, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of visiting campuses. I think you will have 90% of your questions answered if you just go and visit different college campuses. That is the most important thing you can do at this point in your college, your high school career and looking at colleges. So that would be my advice.
And that's great advice. I even think when Terry in the very beginning was mentioning about, even if you think you know a campus, go and visit, you're going to see something that you've not experienced that before. So highly double down on that. Definitely visit campuses, even if you think you know them. Next, Ivy, I'll come to you.
There we go. I was like, why isn't it working? So basically some just more advice and things that I always like to tell students too is, and to parents, is just talk about what success looks like for you, and for the parent, what it looks like for your student. Sometimes it's not just based on grades. College is so much more, with like the growth of exploration and everything, just as it is with classes. So just encourage your students and encourage yourself to chase just different experiences and connections, because you'll learn a lot from life as from textbooks, especially here at UD. A lot of our professors, I think Frida could agree, are an older generation because a lot of them worked in that field for years and years, decided to retire and teach about everything when they got retired. And some of them are still in. We have a few lawyers that work here, so that's always a fun thing too. But yeah, just getting that real life experience and really making sure that it feels like a right fit for you, and that if it doesn't feel right, it's okay to tell us counselors that you're not interested anymore, because then we're not emailing you or trying to call you 24/7 and things, and you're like, oh, I'm just not interested. It's okay. You can break our hearts if you want, but yeah, definitely just make sure everything is a right fit, as we keep saying tonight.
Great. Thank you, Ivy. Appreciate it. And thank you for being here. Nick.
I would say just keep the conversation going. The fact, parents and students that you're here tonight, I mean, that's showing that you're already taking the right steps, but just keep that open communication and conversation back and forth. I mean, throughout junior year, throughout senior year. And for example, as you're looking at classes that you're going to take the rest of your junior year, as you get into your senior year, talk through it with your parents as well. You have a lot of different types of classes you can take and opportunities. So like classes that maybe your parents think you're taking like a joking around class because you want to do like a woodworking class, but maybe you have a really big passion for it. So talk through some of those passions and just what you do enjoy, what classes you're enjoying. But then on the same side of that is like when you're visiting colleges, be open with each other about that too. I know someone mentioned like the expectations. Oftentimes the student expectations and parent expectations don't always line up. So a lot of times when they're visiting, we can tell who's had a lot of conversations versus who might not have. So hopefully then it's not, as you're sitting down with your admissions person on a visit, that you're having a realization of like, wait, you're interested in that? I had no idea. So just keep those conversations going, because you can, I mean, you're just gonna have a better relationship, obviously, but you learn more about your student, you can help guide them on the right path that much better. And then that relationship's going to carry over once they're in college. So especially if they're going away for college, then you can keep that communication going just because you have that habit built up.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Nick. Harry, Nick, and Ivy, thank you so much for being here tonight. Before I go to the students, I wanted to say thank you, not only for you attending, but also bringing these wonderful students in to get their perspectives as well. And I want to give Kayla, I'll start with you, Kayla. Any last words of wisdom or advice you would give these junior students and families?
We say this a lot at UNI, at least I know we do in PA, but it's do all the things. Go to all the campus visits. If they have a weird tradition that they do on your visit day, do it, even if you think it's silly. Like, and just get involved, like we already said earlier, but do the goofy tradition at your high school, make all the friends, and yeah, that would be my thing. Just get involved and do all the things.
Excellent. Thank you, Kayla. Emily.
Something I would say is when you're looking at deciding your major, I've had a lot of friends choose their major based on like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm really interested in biology or business or something like that. And they're not really thinking about like where a business degree would take me if I would have to go to a big city for the job that would be fulfilled in that major. And maybe you don't want to move to a big city. So just thinking about that a little bit before you're choosing the major specifically, I think would really help.
Good advice. Thank you, Emily. Frida.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mouse. But my advice would just to be yourself. It's okay to like be shy, but being yourself, especially when you're visiting different colleges, kind of when like student ambassadors are giving you your tour, they're able to kind of like do a vibe check and like tell you like their experience and be a little bit more personal. Kind of like adding your own personality into your visits allows for just like a more interpersonal connection with who it is that you're with.
All right. Well, thank you, Frida. And Michelle.
One thing I would say is, don't be ashamed on where you go to. I know from my experience, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're just going to Kirkwood. It's not just," or "You're just going to a 4 year," or "You're just this." It's not just because you're about to put in a lot of effort to get a degree you want because that's what you love. So I guess just be proud of where you're going and just get super involved, ask a lot of questions. And it's okay to be different and it's okay to be honest because I know it's hard as a young student to have conversations with your parents and say like, "Hey, I know you wanted me to be a lawyer, but I don't really like that. Maybe I want to do something in the arts or in the science field." So it's okay to be honest with them, and I feel like honesty is the best policy for all of this, and just being honest to yourself and just thinking about what you really want to do will really help you succeed as a person and succeed as a student in general. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, Michelle, Kayla, Emily, and Frida, thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight. We all hope that you have a wonderful school years this year and finishing up and whenever you're done and moving on. But thank you for all the great advice that you've given to us tonight. And we are going to wrap up here. I'm going to turn it back over to Carrie to end the program.
Thank you. Panelists, thank you for being here. Parents, students that are joining us here on this webinar, thank you for attending. All of these college admissions, all these students, even other college admissions representatives and students are there to talk to you. So if you have a question, whether you want to talk to one of the colleges that was on the call tonight or another one, please reach out. Some of them have the ability to chat with them online. Otherwise, pick up that phone, send an email to talk with them. You can always reach out to us at ICAN as well. We are here to help you on this college planning journey and career planning journey. So thank you for being here tonight. And I hope we see you all at the fair on Sunday down in Altoona. Have a good night.